Hello everyone. We are from Group 3. We would like to present our case study entitled, Analyzing the Social Issues Among Students Using Social Organization Life Cycle Assessment. The contents for this presentation are firstly regarding the introduction, problem statement, research objective, research question, literature review, conceptual framework, methodology, result and discussion, conclusion and lastly the reference. Firstly, for the introduction, we have used the SOLCA method in our study. If you want to know, SOLCA is a social impact assessment to assess social and socio-economic criteria of products and their impacts with their life cycle. Next, for the goal and scope of SOLCA, it encourages external stakeholders to be involved in providing input on impacts within the assessment itself. Secondly, it requires the practitioner to consider the social impacts of the product use and phase function. For the background of the study, firstly, the stakeholder of this study focuses on students only. Secondly, for the study area, the study will be conducted among the students in Faculty of Forestry and Environmental Studies, UPM. Thirdly, the goal of the study is to focus on the social issues related to the students using SOLCA method. Next, for the problem statement, the problems that exist. Firstly, COVID-19 forces students to have online classes. Secondly, the isolation period that exists due to COVID-19 has reduced self-esteem and motivation. Thirdly, lack of accessibility causes poor internet connection and low gadget quality. Lastly, during this COVID-19 era, students find it hard to adjust themselves to new norms. Our research objective is to analyze the different social issues among male and female students in FHAS. Our focus is on the social issues the students faced. First is their satisfaction with online learning. Next is their mental and physical health. Lastly, the last social issue that we focus on is their study pressure. There are a few research questions that we find out for this research. The first one is, what are the social issues of male and female students of FHAS? Then, what is the level of satisfaction between male and female students of FHAS towards online learning? What is the current health status of students in FHAS? What is the pressure level of the male and female students of FHAS with their study through online learning? And what are the students' adaptability to the online learning situation? Now, we are moving to the literature review. There are 3 literature reviews for this research. The first LR is from Selvanathan et al. It tells us that the students are having a low level of satisfaction with online learning. Second LR focus on students' health, which is mental health during the pandemic. The third LR is by Elias et al. And it focuses on the study pressure that students faced. Then, we also made a conceptual framework for this study. Our stakeholder is students. We aim for the social issues faced by the students, which is satisfaction towards online learning, their physical and mental health, and study pressure. Next, for the methodology. So here is the research framework for this study, which consists of 4 phases of LCA, starting with the goal and scope definition, which consists of background information, goal definition and scope definition. For the second phase, which is life cycle inventory, it regarding the data collection method, questionnaire development, and sampling technique. The third one, which is life cycle impact assessment, it including the selection of social impact categories and characterization of social impact. And for the last phase is the life cycle assessment interpretation. Next, for the goal and scope definition, for the background information, this study is considering the ISO 14040 and the SLCA framework, with the regard to the stakeholder categories. Secondly, for the goal definition, this study aimed to assess the social impacts that arise among the organization, in order to improve the living condition of the stakeholder. And for the scope definition, this study only involved one organization, which is only among the students. Next, for the life cycle inventory, for the data collection, this study only conducted a quantitative method, which is only using an online survey. The data collection is be done by distributing the questionnaire using Google Form. For the questionnaire design format, this questionnaire consists of 4 sections. which is the section regarding the demography questions, section B, C and D regarding the subcategory of the social issue. For the measurement, we have used the ordinal measurement, which is the Likert scale for section B, C and D. Lastly, for validity and reliability test, however, this study does not conduct any of these tests for the questionnaire. Next, moving on to the sample size. Firstly, we have determined the actual population, which is the student actual population. Overall, there are about 5 bachelor in Faculty of Forestry and Environment Studies. And for the first one, which is from Bachelor of Forestry Science, there are overall of 165 students, 135 students from Bachelor of Wood Technology, 184 students from Bachelor of Park Recreation Science, 239 students from Bachelor of Environmental Science and Technology, and 197 students from Bachelor of Environmental Management. Overall, there are 920 students in Faculty of Forestry and Environment Studies. So, after I calculated the sample size, the total sample for Bachelor of Forestry Science is 66, 56 samples from Bachelor of Wood Technology, 77 samples from Bachelor of Park Recreation Science, 88 samples from Bachelor of Environmental Science and Technology, and 76 samples from Bachelor of Environmental Management. Therefore, the total sample required is about 363 samples. And this is the sample size formula that has been used to calculate the sample size. Next, moving on to the sampling technique. So we have decided to use multi-stage sampling since Faculty of Forestry and Environmental Studies consist of 5 bachelors and quite complex. Therefore, the first sampling technique that has been used is the clustered sampling. We also use stratified sampling since we required both genders to be involved in our study. And lastly, we also use simple random sampling for our sampling technique. Next, for the data analysis, the statistical analysis that has been used is the descriptive analysis. The descriptive analysis that will be conducted including to find the frequency, percentage and mean score. Also, the cross-tabulation analysis will be used to quantitatively analyze between the two variables. For the result and discussion, we are going to discuss about the socio-demographic, which is the year of study, gender and courses. Secondly, social issue 1, which is student satisfaction towards online learning. Next, social issue 2, which is students' physical and mental health. Lastly, social issue 3, which is student study pressure. As for the socio-demographic, based on the figure, 93 response was collected and most of the respondent was third-year students, which are 55.9%, 20.4% second-year students and 23.7% first-year students. As for gender, most of the respondents are female, which is 68.8%, while 31.2% of the total respondents are male. Most of the respondents are Bachelor of Environmental Management students, which is 43%. For Bachelor of Forestry students, the respondents are 17.2%. 14% of the total respondents are Bachelor of Wood Technology students, while 12.9% of the total respondents are Bachelor of Park and Recreation students. The remaining 12.9% are Bachelor of Environmental Science and Technology students. This figure shows the mean score for student satisfaction towards online learning. There are 10 items and the question related to student learning satisfaction was asked in the survey. Firstly, for the first item, the mean score for student satisfaction towards online learning is 2.94 and according to the table, the satisfaction measure is moderate. This is because many students had a natural opinion towards the new norm in online learning. For the second item, the mean score is 2.55, which is moderate satisfactorily. It is because most of the students felt that it hard for them to understand the lectures through learning. Thirdly, the mean score is 2.42, meaning that the satisfaction is moderate. This is due to many students disagree that an online learning system makes it easy for them to interact with other students. Fourthly, the figure shown the mean score is 2.25, which is poor. This is because large numbers of students had usually faced a problem with internet connection during online learning. For item 5, the mean score is 3.09, which is moderate satisfaction. The reason is that most of the students had a natural opinion when asked whether it is easy to ask a question during online learning. Next, the mean score for item 6 is 2.6, which is moderate. Because many of students thinks that online learning is expensive than classroom learning, while others had a natural opinion, and some think that online learning is less expensive than classroom learning. For the seventh item, the mean score is 3.55, which is moderate, and this is due to the large numbers of the student are agreed that online learning gives them more time to explore learning sources. The mean score for item 8 is 2.56, which is moderate. It is because many students felt that online learning does not make learning more enjoyable. For item 9, the mean score is 2.74, means that the satisfaction is moderate. The reason is that majority of students had a natural opinion when they were asked whether they have a better understanding of course requirements in an online course. For item 10, the mean score is 2.17, which means poor satisfaction. Because most students felt that communication during online learning does not effective than face-to-face discussions. Overall, the student satisfaction towards online learning is moderate since most of the items mean score shows moderate satisfaction. The figure showed the cross-tabulation between student satisfaction towards online learning and gender. Majority of male student, which is 15 out of 29 students, is moderately satisfied towards online learning. While most of the female students, which are 35 out of 64 students, are also moderately satisfied with online learning. This figure show mean score for students' health towards online learning. There are 10 items and the question related to student health was asked in the survey. For the first item, the graph indicate that the mean score is 3.95, and according to the table of range level of students' health, it is in poor health measure. This is because most of the respondent had feel so burdened during online learning. For the second item, most of them spent more than 15 hours per day facing the laptop with the mean score 4.08 that show a poor health measure. Majority had natural and strongly agree opinion when asked whether they always sleep late to review again the class recordings. For third item with the mean score 3.73 and the health measure also indicate moderate. Item number 4, with the mean score 3.18, it shows that the student's health measure in moderate level as large numbers of respondent are agreed that need to add the spectacles power due to online learning. For item 5, the mean score is 2.66, which the range level of health measure is also in moderate level because most of the respondent had natural opinion when asked whether no spectacles to wear spectacles. Most of them strongly agree when they often find their self feeling sleep deprived or physically ill due to stress and anxiety, which then gave 4.19 mean score with poor level of health measure. In item number 7, the mean score is 3.62 with moderate level of health measure as majority of them had natural and agree opinion that they often experience depressive mood. Majority of them agree that they having difficulties on concentrating. In item number 8 with the mean score 4.03 that indicate a poor level of health measure. Majority of them agree that they often experience rapid heartbeats, circulatory problem, dizziness. In item number 9, which then gave a mean score of 3.25 that indicate a moderate level of health measure. Last item, item number 10, the mean score is 4.311 with the health measure at a poor level as most of them strongly agree that they often had neck and shoulder pain during facing with online learning. The lowest mean score is 2.66 and according to the table, it indicates a moderate health measure. And the highest are 4.31, which is indicate poor health measure. To sum up, the student's health towards online learning is balance between moderate and poor health measure when 5 item indicate for moderate health measure and another 5 item indicate poor health measure toward online. The figure shown the cross-tabulation between students' health towards online learning and gender. Most of male, which is 14 out of 29 students, poorly on students' health towards online learning. While majority of female respondent, which is 37 out of 64 students, are also poorly on students' health towards online learning. This figure show the mean score for student study pressure in online learning. There are 10 items and the question related to student study pressure was asked in survey. For the first question, the student study pressure is measured as high with the mean score of 3.96. This is because respondents strongly agree with the question asked whether they feel so pressure doing group work due to lack in cooperation between members. Next, second item is the highest, which score mean 4.51 indicates high study pressure among the students. This is because they do feel too much pressure of their study and assignments. Thirdly, the mean score is 4.0, which indicate high pressure. This is because the students do have problem in internet connection during online learning. Most of the respondents vote strongly agree for items number 4. It is shown that the mean score is 4.27, which is high study pressure was measured for the question the students feel that online learning limiting their time for leisure activities. For the fifth item, we can see that the mean score is only 2.09, which indicates low pressure. Majority votes for strongly disagree for the item stated which the student attendance is poor. For item number 6, the mean score is 1.89, which indicates low pressure in students. This is because they do know how to access the materials provided online by the lecturer. Item number 7 mean score is 4.51, which indicate high in study pressure. This is because majority of the students strongly agree that the amount of assignments is too much. Most of the students strongly agree for item number 8 with the mean score 3.84. This indicates the students do have high pressure measure due to time allocated for classes and academic works is not enough. The students also had difficulties to engage in class activity with the mean score 3.74 for item number 9. It indicates that students do have high study pressure. Last but not least for item number 10, the mean score is 4.11, which indicates the students do have high pressure in feeling insecure because of too much competition in getting grades and a good job. Overall, the students' study pressure towards online is high since most of the items mean score shows high in pressure measure. The figure showed the cross-tabulation between students' study pressure towards online learning and gender. Majority of male students, which 15 out of 29 students is high pressure in study. While, most of the female students, which are 32 out of 64 students are moderately pressure in study. For the conclusion, we can see that for satisfaction towards online learning section, the stakeholder felt moderately satisfied as most of them had neutral opinion towards online learning. Next, for students' health section, the stakeholder felt poor state in physically and mentally due to often having neck and shoulder pain. Last but not least, for students' study pressure section, it seems the stakeholder are in high study pressure due to access of line and also tons of assignments. Here is the references used in this study. Thank you.